Right, I call Personnel Finance Committee to order. First thing, we have the minutes of January 18th, 2023. Accept the minutes. Accept the minutes for January 18th, 2023. Next, we have the personnel updates.
Good afternoon. The open positions that we have open for this month, we have a custodian position as well as public safety position. Still have both of the community economic development positions open, which is the grant manager position, as well as program coordinator. We were going through a hiring process for the program coordinator, however, that did not fall through. So both of those positions are still open, as well as the deputy city clerk's position. The changes from last month, we did hire 2 former officers that decided to come back to work for us. Those are the only changes for this month for the personnel.
Director Little still need help down there, so
Mhm.
it didn't turn out good with the applicant.
For some odd reason, we have people apply. We go through the interview process. This last candidate, actually, it seems as though she was perfect, and she just stopped responding.
That's it on the employment update. This is one question. For the water analysis, are we supposed to start training people at the water plant? Are we looking for those jobs? There gonna be different job positions at the plant?
As far as I'm aware of, they just need to get certified. So we are looking at a person to come to the plant to actually teach a class to help those already employed actually get certified.
Certified. Thank you. Good.
With the water plant situation in regards to the certification, so you guys have enough employees at the water plant and those particular employees need to be certified, or do you need to hire additional people for other positions?
City Manager Mitchell can probably answer a little bit more.
Okay.
However, right now we do have F&B at the water plant that is there. They're certified and actually helping out. We're not looking to hire any more employees this fiscal year. However, I'm not for sure how that will look for next fiscal year.
We need to, Mr. Chair, we need to get our people certified.
Okay, people that's there now.
That's there, and people that come in have to be certified or be on a track to get certified.
You want questions for?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many people you would say it takes to run the water plant if we were fully staffed?
That's hard to say. And the reasoning why is because throughout the years, different things has taken place. At one point, we were servicing Benton Township and other townships. However, at this point, we are not. So therefore, the water plant is not operating on 24-hour basis like it used to be. Hopefully, those would change. Hopefully, we'll get more customers. So right now, we do have 2 operators that actually are responsible for the water itself to make sure that the water is good. You know, all the chemicals is in the water at this point. it's working. I mean, we're now on a 24-hour basis, which we don't need to be at this moment, but
Thank you.
And the other part of the plant system is the distribution system. So we have 2 or 3 people that are working in distribution.
So, when nobody's there, it's an automation.
That's at night,
Yes.
yes.
Turn.
So once the staff is certified, do they pay go up? Because when you're working for DOT and when you get different certificates under our belt, our pay increases
Okay.
by 5%. What would that be like for the city side? Once you got staff who's saying that they have not been even offered the training yet, how would you increase their pay?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, City Manager.
when people get certified, yes, they will get pay increases. That's the incentive for them to do it.
Will they get 5%, a quarter raise?
We haven't determined the amount.
Thank you. Go ahead, Director Dolly. Move on to the finance.
Can I ask one question before you guys move on?
Go ahead, Dr. Mr. Dunn.
Is there ever gonna come a time where we can, sell bottled water?
City Manager.
I don't know if there will become a time.
You know, I didn't, you have to speak into the microphone, I didn't hear
So you
that.
didn't, I said, I don't know when there'll become a time.
You don't know when there will become a time.
It's something to look into.
Something to look into for.
hello.
Move on to the finance report.
Finance or city income tax?
Oh, the city income tax. City income tax.
For the complete month of January, for the individual returns, the total was $2,169.26. For withholdings, $226,075.43. Total deposits, $238,485.69. And refunds totaling $1,858, with a revenue of $10,241. For the year-to-date for 2022, it did change. If you recall last month, I stated that our computer system was acting kind of funny.
Right.
So for the year-to-date totals for the individual returns, year-to-date is $155,863.93. Withholdings is $2,439,240.76.
Is there another one of those?
Yes, Commissioner Isom has the copies.
Oh, wow.
Total deposits,
Say it over again.
for withholdings is $2,439,240.76. Total deposits, $2,705,294.52. Total refunds, $148,059.88, with a revenue of $295,259.83.
Any questions on the city income tax?
Is the microphone working?
Any questions on the city income tax?
Do we get these in our packet? Can we get these emailed to every commissioner?
Yeah.
Prior to? Thank you.
All right, through the chair, Ms. Dolliday, can you tell me what the city income tax is used for? And also what the refunds, were there overpayments? You paid back?
As far as what the city income tax is used for, you can, the city manager
Okay,
Mitchell
city
or,
manager, what is the city income tax? Is that the Ben Harbor City one that we pay out of our checks?
This city income tax is dedicated to infrastructure improvements.
Have you used any
Streets,
for that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you send me what we used it for and what we have left in it?
Updates.
Who did I ask for that?
we get an update to
Okay,
commission.
okay.
Update on the income tax project.
And the refunds that's for overpaid people who's overcharged and we have to pay them back or what?
That it can go for a lot of different things. You do have a lot of employers that actually charge city income tax to individuals that shouldn't, that they don't actually live in the city of Benton Harbor. They might have a city of Benton Harbor address, but don't live in the city.
Let's be honest, man, we can prepare for it.
Thank you.
And it doesn't work.
Might want to turn it on. I apologize.
Chairman Ice.
Thank you, ma'am. Or it might be like for, hello? Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Some might be people that actually have a city of Benton Harbor address, but doesn't actually live within the city limits of Benton Harbor. It could be that they were overcharged people that actually work in a city, but lives outside the city. So that's like a different percentage that occurs. It could be, we still have a lot of people that work from home. So therefore, just like you do your federal and state returns, you have like deductions and things of the sort that takes place. So it could be multiple things. It's not just one.
But majority is overpayment, whether it's be from the employee,
But
charging and insure or the
yes.
city.
Yes, technically, that's how you get everything.
Chairman Ice.
Go ahead, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, sir. We requested, for quite some time now, if in fact we can get a breakdown of what any of the income tax dollars have been used for within the past 2 years.
Right.
Line items with amounts, because if we have federal dollars that have come in to do infrastructural work, on this emergency thing that we've been enduring, we should not have to be utilizing the citizens' tax dollars that were set aside for and collected for purposeful infrastructural things. And I think that we need to be able to differentiate the two, and that would be greatly appreciated, sir.
Thank you. City manager. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, does this, I don't like this kind of stuff y'all doing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'll stand up there. You usually go to the mic and then you tell them what your name is or something.
Come on to the mic.
You gotta
tell
Need you to
them.
come to the mic.
We don't
Nobody
tell nobody.
know. You on record, and then you start suing y'all, and then y'all don't know who was talking. First of all, I want to know, does this said body fall up under the finance director's position? Anytime you're taking in tax dollars or finance, it should fall under that position, I would think. Is that not something that's true or not? Or this said position is something that has autonomy not to have anything to do with that position? Because anything financial, if you look at your charter, when you start collecting and receiving money, that falls under that body of the finance director. So does this, what's the name of this body and who does it fall under?
What body are you talking about?
Talking about the body that collects the income tax.
It's a department. It's a city income tax.
What's the name of the department, please?
City income tax.
So the city income tax department, city income tax department falls under what? Under where?
I answer to City Manager Mitchell. Prior to him, I answered to City Manager Darwin Watson.
What did you say?
She answered to the city manager, and prior to
No,
that, she
let her
answered.
say it now, let her say it.
Okay, so what I do want to get some clarification on this said body, because that's not per the charter.
Okay.
The charter states that when you start collecting or receiving revenue or money,
Mhm.
that falls under the finance director. So do we have did the emergency manager pass something that says that this body falls under, because literally this body should be answering to us solely,
Okay.
or the finance director, and the finance director answers to us. What has happened is, what you got too many people, we being railed in the newspaper and on the radio and on the news because people are suggesting that we don't have control over the finance department,
There you go.
which falls up under the city commission. So what we need to do, we need to figure out, because the water payment center used to fall under the finance director before she passed away, God rest her soul. But the water payment center fell up under her. And every said body that collected money fell up under the finance director. Can't think of a name right now. No, and it's not any disrespectful portion, but I think she passed on. She was with Joyce. Wasn't Joyce, it was the other young lady. Jackie Bell, thank you. It was Jackie Bell. When Jackie Bell held that position, when accounts payable and accounts receivable, all that fell up under Jackie Bell. So now we got this new committee. We need to figure out how and when and why. Because that position or that body should be reporting directly to the finance director, period. There's nothing, ain't nobody got nothing else to say unless the attorney said, but the charter is what we abide by. So we need to figure that out. Hopefully we can do that before the next meeting, but the charter says that this body should be answering to the finance director. Then we can close our door and fan, or tell people that they can't talk to us, but what the charter says is one thing, and what people are doing is another. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
We are
Pro Tem.
no longer in receivership.
Go ahead, City Manager.
Mr. Chair, I wasn't here, but there's some people who can explain to you what the rules are.
No, the charter.
On the,
Talking about the
charter,
rules.
with all respect, there was no charter, no finance income at the time that the charter was done. So, you know the answer to that.
I don't know all the exact rules, but the income tax is definitely different than property taxes. Property taxes are what are covered in your charter, that's what
Charter
existed
is clear.
way back then.
Can you listen so she can?
Taxes is
Hey,
taxes.
point of order, come on, don't do that. Let's just hear.
Taxes are taxes.
hear-
The charter is clear.
Taxes are taxes, please, don't do that. That's why we need attorneys.
Point of order.
Go ahead, Commissioner Henry. You finished, Ron? You finished?
Well, I think we probably need to do some research with the state of Michigan.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's the
other
state of Michigan.
organizations, such as Grand Rapids that we visited, the income tax department is completely separated from the finance department. Now, the finance department has to account for the money and does account for the money, the bank rec, the bank statements, the money coming in. But as far as the distribution and all the processing of the income tax, because it's such private information, social security numbers, it has to be treated totally different than your normal finances. And because it has to be secure, there are people, I can't access the information, when I was the acting finance director, I could not access any information that Lisa processed because it's private. And that's why they keep it separate from your finance department.
Thank you, Ron.
Please.
Mr. Kennard, Mr. Kennard got the floor.
Well, since you asked, can I ask the question?
Mr. Kennard got the
Mr.
floor.
Nardi.
Because
Tim, come on.
mixing
man.
water, and I'm gonna leave because this behavior is why we don't have financial people now and all this other kind of stuff. because people are doing what the heck they want to do.
Yep, that's right.
We're mixing water. I didn't say nothing about nobody's private information. I said when the money comes in,
Yeah.
that money has to be accounted for by your finance director.
Mhm.
Your finance director is bonded. So you telling me he's bonded, but he can't get your private information? Let's stop playing. He bonded. He got to be bonded by the state of Michigan anyway.
A director.
So, I mean, so we're saying is taxes, which is stated by the charter. And I don't mean to interrupt your meeting, sir. Sorry. But I don't want this to go on record as we're saying that these taxes are something so private. Everybody got to pay them.
Yeah.
And if the man can't handle a social security number, he shouldn't be the finance director no way. So what I'm saying is, this said body, we have to correct it. If not, it's gonna keep going where it's going, and then we need to find out who they report to. That's it, that's all.
Thank you. But Mr. Henry.
Thank you.
Mr. Nard, go ahead, Mr. Nard.
Come
I
on,
know
Jeff.
many times it's not too happy to hear me speak because my main thing has been said. If you all don't have a finance director, you all are in violation of your own charter. And how many years had it been before they had one and can't even keep him because he can't get the records that he's supposed to get, so that he can do his job. And he's gonna be the one that get pointed to when there's some kind of a problem there. Now, you all said that you can't give this, you can't give that. That finance director has a job to do. And it can't be no backdoor deal or this shammy mess. You got to do the right thing. That's why Benton Harbor's in the condition that it's in. Because too many times when big money comes in here, it's gone before you can blink your eye. The finance director before this one, he already sent every last one of you all a letter as to what was going on. The money was being moved without his direction or his knowledge of it. Between the mayor and Mr. Watson, that money was moved. Now, if they have to be responsible and keep records of it, how is it that they don't have any information or have to be responsible when that money moves? They got to have some responsibility to keep a record as to what's coming in and what's going out. That's the finance director. He directs the finances of the city. So you can follow the process. But one day when they come for them beautiful bracelets that connect, you follow the process right on out. Because if I'm around, I'm going to say, hey, you be sure to get the ones that's following the process. And you don't even know what the process
We
is.
know what the process is.
But whatever it is, you follow through. Because that day is going to come that you're going to have to answer to authorities higher than you. Because there's corruption going on here, and it's not accurate records as to what's going on. Why can't you keep a financial manager here? That's a red flag there. So keep on going, doing what you do. But every eye that's closed is not sleep. I tell everybody that when it's wrongdoing, don't think ain't nobody picked up on it or noticed. So that's my word for you today.
Thank you for your word. Mr. Henry.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, city income tax is nothing new. It was created by the state of Michigan, and they have certain rules.
Right.
And I was so glad to get involved in it so I could pick it apart and look at every little detail of it. So, at one time when we first decided, we had Grand Rapids to help us to come in to handle how it's processed, because it's a different process than what we're doing with our regular government money. And they did say it had to be, the state of Michigan said it had to be a different department. And they also said that our financial director would sign off on the report. So once they do the report, they sign off on it, then it comes to us. There's a standard operating procedure with this, and it don't change because we want it to change.
So where's the violation? In
Point of order.
in the
Point of order.
process.
Point of order.
I just want to say that I think that we're doing it the right way. We just maybe not allocating the money in the right place. But so far for what I see is we're doing it the right way. Just where the state insisted or said we shall do it that way. So I try to say it's one thing, but this is brand new and it wasn't created in 1952. So, yeah, I think we're doing the right thing. I just think that we need to allocate that money to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner had it, they have his hand up.
I'm gonna read chapter 3, section 3.27, Director of Finances. The Director of Finance shall direct and supervise over the Department of Finance and the administration of finance affairs of the city, including the keeping of the records and financial records and collection of taxes, special assessment and other revenue, and shall have control over all other financial dispository for the funds of the market board, cemetery board, and the library board, and such other boards or funds as the commission may direct. Per the city charter.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Colonel.
That's clear.
See, y'all allow all kinds of stuff, right?
And see, for one thing, Ms. Can I speak? You all are on stage, and I watch your demeanor. I watch when certain people speak on certain things, how sometimes you clam up. You tell me a lot about you. I just about can tell just exactly what's going on. When that young man just spoke just a minute to read that off, I could read you real good. So you're on stage. Miss Kennard is watching you. I'm the oldest thing here, and I got it down to pat. Yes, I do. I got it down pat.
Thank you, Mr. Nam, for having it down pat. Good job. One more question, Mr. Duncan.
I guess I shouldn't say anything about organized crime at its best. So I won't right now. But if the commissioners don't know what the money is doing, then the citizens damn sure don't know what the money is doing. And to be closed mouth or pull yourself over into an office or something and move things around, and you guys don't know nothing about it. Can you explain, Mr. Chair, how you do that? Or why you do that? Or why is it being done?
All in the process.
Come on now, that ain't the process, is it?
What's the question again?
All of it was the question. Ask somebody up there what I said, because I'm not gonna
We got
repeat
all the
nothing.
finances right there. Where the money at, all of it, year to date, right there.
Why don't you guys, the question is, why don't you guys know what some of the process is?
I know what the
Why don't
process
you
is.
guys know any of the
I
process?
know the process.
You do? Well, why don't you share it with the rest of the commissioners?
The state separated the income tax department from the regular.
Okay, we're going over, and I don't wanna
Yeah,
go
we
over,
talked
but what I
about
do wanna
So we're
say,
gonna move.
no, I'm not finished. How you gonna move?
Please don't disrespect Mr. Duncan.
Go ahead,
I'll
Mr.
wait until
Duncan.
he's finished.
Every time I come here, you gotta do the same thing up there, and that's not good. I told you it's not good. Now, where's my thought? Because you're cutting me off. I'm a citizen and I deserve my rights.
Take your time and get it back.
What are you guys gonna do to change this? And how soon are you gonna do it?
Thank you, Mr.
Can
Dunn.
you answer that, Chair, if you can't ask somebody else to
We're working
question?
on the process.
We get back to you.
You working on the process?
Committee. Thank you. That's it.
You heard what I said about organized crime, right? So be a part of any of that. All of you guys can sit up there and be part of it. It's gonna come around, because when you start messing with the citizens' money, if that's what's being done, I don't know. Because once we start getting into conversations like this, I have questions popping up all over my head. So to stop that from happening, the word was transparent. Be it. No, I don't know. I didn't even get that until I got into the meeting. That's what I asked for you guys to make sure the citizens have one to either side of this chamber so we can go through it with you. But you guys make sure you don't do that every time. And then you have a citizen like me who's gonna remind you every time. So when you're gonna do that, make sure the citizens get a chance to read what you read. Can you answer that, Mr. Chair?
I'll make sure you get it next meeting.
Can you make sure one comes to both sides of this?
I'll do my best. Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
Thank you.
Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Chairman Isom.
Yes.
And just to be clear, I mean no disrespect whatsoever.
Yes.
And me-
But I have a problem, and I'm sure the residents have a problem as well, with some commissioners knowing a process of something and the rest of us are out of sync with knowing what that process is. Our laws are governed by the state of Michigan. We have a charter that this city is governed by. And those laws that are within the charter, I'm sure the state is very aware of, and it's very clear. Every department has a director. See, this didn't just happen. And I want City Manager Mitchell to understand that, and all other listening ears, because it didn't just happen. This didn't just come up. This has been ongoing since the beginning for Commissioner Adams. And the only thing I want to be, what Mr. Duncan say, is not corrupt
Organized
crime. Well,
crime.
no, not organized crime, but I want to be organized with accountability and transparency.
Me too.
And there seems to be a deficiency in both as it relates to our finances. I'm very aware that we had a reserve. Actually, our tab, Brent Rakowski, well, he actually referred us to actually put something together so that we can make payroll and stuff without having to go back into receivership and all that. That's money that just sits there, we don't bother, ain't even accounted for, but all of a sudden it's all of this big parade and stuff going on. I knew it was there. I mean, but it's there for a reason. And maybe something happened with all of this money that just came down the pipeline. Thank you, Reverend Pinckney and Water Council, for the emergency that helped us get our lead lines fixed quicker than we would have. Because 20 years is a long time to be suffering any longer. Now that we are actually an example of what can be done in a shorter period of time, but I don't know how many other communities across America has under 10,000 people with probably 400 houses, or let's say 4,000, because I'm pretty sure they have a population of 300,000 people as opposed to our little 9 or 10. But accountability and transparency is all that I've ever asked for. And that we follow our own city charter, because I've watched, and it's no disrespect, Plant Moran is a business. They're in business because businesses go into business to make money. Over the years, they've come from 190-something thousand to almost $300,000 a year. Something is wrong with that picture. And we should be operating with our own finance director, somebody that answers to us, not just when it's something somebody feels threatened to show up temporarily or momentarily. That's disrespectful to us as elected officials.
Thank you.
And they need to be following the process, and we need to be hiring somebody that follows our process.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good. Mayor Pro Tem.
first, I'm not piggybacking off that, the water council thing. He got nothing to say about that one. Cause that guy there,
He was the one got there too.
he didn't do none of that. He sat up there and lied and said a whole lot of stuff that was not true. I was telling him to his face that anytime he wants to sit down and talk. You cannot give, when we sat there and voted this 9-member board to get these things handled, the credit for getting the water thing fixed. We got this thing fixed. You know, I mean, if there's no problem, then you can't hustle. You know, just being real with you. So let me go ahead and say what I got to say on the other part. Plant Moran, and this is not disrespect to them because I think she's done a remarkable job since she's been here. I think our books have been on point. I don't know what just happened here. You know, I wasn't done asking about the income tax, but this kind of behavior is something that in Benton Harbor only happens here. Now, even though the state stated that the accounting, the collection had to be different. That's what we need to the collection of the income tax needed to be in a different account, different department, but it still falls under the head of the finance director. The state never said that the city manager has autonomy over the city income tax. And no city, no state, no form. This has nothing to do with Mr. Mitchell. But the state never said that that department reports to the city manager. Because if that be true, then the disbursements, the collection methods, because if you don't pay, then you could be prosecuted. Anything can happen in that department that falls under the jurisdiction of a home rule city. Let's get back to that too. We're a home rule city. We're not some city that's controlled even by the county. So let us put the right information out there about the collection, the counting of it. I think we should be getting some every month. But this body, or whoever this entity is, should report to the finance director. Then the finance director gives a report every month to us. That's our employee, the finance director. So this is my question to the body then. If we can't keep one, then why not hire one, outsource it, get somebody. We done went through 3 of them. Why? And 3 of them, you know, I mean, you get divorced once, it might be their fault. Twice, it could be both y'all fault. But 3 times, something up.
Real wrong.
I mean, we have to find out what is, and I know this situation was a little bit different. Without giving some intimate detail, it was a little bit different. But the other 2, and maybe he heard rumors of other 2, or what happened, or what was said, or however it happened. And I'm not going to go into personnel issues, but we need to find out and get a resolute. We have had enough power to do a whole lot of things in this community. We have beautified this building. We got flowers. I mean, we got everything out here. This building looks totally remarkable now, front of it, side of it, all around it. And yet we don't have enough power to get an employee to stay for a couple years. We need to find out what's that problem. I mean, we have to cut to the chase and find out what's the issue there. And if not, then maybe we should change our charter and say we can't do it, or have somebody else do it, or have, and say we need Plant Moran. But if there's no need for them, then we don't have to pay them. I go back to Jackie Bell again. They were coming in and auditing to make sure the books was right. It wasn't a daily operational thing that they had to be here. So, I mean, and I concur with my constituent that it's a lot of money being spent in attorney fees, accounting fees, all these other fees that could be going to the residents. And the books are good, and I admit that, and I congratulate. I'm not saying it's not good, but that body here has to report to somebody, and the key was, I'm sitting down. The key was, I'm already sitting down, but the key was that the reason why it went so long is because somebody wanted that power not to go to the commission, but to be in one office.
Somebody.
And I'm not saying it was the city manager now, I'm not saying it was the city manager before. But somehow, some way, that body has to report, the financial staff, whoever it is to report to the city council per the charter. And the longer we keep it like it is now, the longer none of us know nothing, but some of us. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move.
Can I just have one more thing to
Mr.
say?
Henry had a hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a horse that we're gonna have to address. There's an elephant in the room and we're gonna have to address it.
Right.
Because it's happened more than once. So there's no coincidence because it happened more than once. So I'll go back to my original request to look at the exit reviews. Why did they leave? When I got the paper and saw that there was an exit review in the paper before I could even read it, that really hurt me. We need to know what's happening with our employees. We need to know why they're leaving so we can put something in place so they can stay. We need to look at the ones that were hired in 2018 because some of those were favoritism. Some of them got a job because they were in favor of someone. And to prove it, go and look at their resumes. Go and look at their applications. They'll tell you there's no job experience. I just got 2 references. And that'll let you know somebody did something for their friend. And if that person has moved up from public works to the water plant, to wherever else they done moved to, we need to know. Okay. I love to bring that old stuff, because see, that's old stuff. And that's stuff we need, we as elected officials, that's our job to do nothing but inquire and make laws. So, I'm looking at Human Resource Report, all the employees we need. Just one after the other, we're just not getting it. For something as simple as a custodian, and we're not getting it. Okay, that means we need to do something outside the box. We cannot keep doing what we've been doing because it ain't worked 3 times. So, I'm asking you through the chair,
Yes.
if we can submit a letter to the University, Michigan, and all the historical Black colleges, the alumni, and ask them for some of these positions, can they find somebody that would love to come to this little cottage community and live? The school system did it, and it worked for them.
They discriminated like that? Just reached out to Black
Point
colleges?
of order. Can we just-
I'm sorry.
Do you live in America? Or is discrimination is something that we do automatically, don't we?
Go ahead, Commissioner. Go ahead, finish it.
Out of order.
I know.
Okay. So I'm suggesting that we find another way to do some recruiting.
Right. Yeah.
It's okay, because when Juanita Henry go and apply for a job, they look at me as a woman, as a black woman, and if they don't want to give me the job, I don't get it. And they don't even have to tell me why. So I know that there is some educated people in the state of Michigan and all over the United States. If we write a letter, they'll come. And we'll have somebody for 4 to 5 years to work that have the knowledge. And then we can bring that person up from City Hall, from city residents in 4 or 5 years to take on position. But we got to do it. We can't just keep doing nothing. So that's my suggestion, that we ask staff to compose that letter, bring it back to you, and let us look at it. Send it out with an RFP, if that need be, or just for a job opening. We have to do something different. We can't keep doing the same thing.
Thank you, Mr. Go ahead, Mr. Nard.
Do that mean you're gonna do something, or you just gonna let it
I
slide?
said, thank you. We're gonna move on that. I like that. Good recommendation.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Nard. Finish up.
I've heard you all say year after year that you've had a clean audit. You don't have a clean audit. Anytime at the cemetery board, you all gave $100,000 to them for equipment.
Right.
They can't find the equipment, no invoices of nothing, or the money. And not only that, I was talking to someone else that's a lot more money that has come up missing. When I worked on the cemetery board, there was money missing because there was people that gave money from the insurance company for those monuments that had been damaged, had been vandalized. Nobody found that money. So a lot that's been going on over there. But then how is it that Plant Moran give a clean audit?
That wasn't Plant Moran.
Well, whoever. But Plant Moran kept the records, didn't it? For it to be a clean audit. We didn't have a financial manager. Who kept the records then? Was it Plant Moran? I'm asking.
I don't think so.
Well, I figured that you all should know.
You don't know the process?
We got to know the process of who kept the records.
We have people that work down below.
You work where?
Right down below us. The water department and accounts payable.
So they're the ones that was responsible for, I know they turned the money into who?
All the information.
Into where? All their information goes to who so that they can do a clean audit?
People, rural, Raymond. The audit company.
The audit company is the one that did the audit. Something is not right. That's why I'm saying, I was over there at the cemetery board, and I knew that was good things going. Like there, over at Dollar I came to y'all personally. Now the person that resigned, she could tell you a million things about what was going on. And I know they pushed me out of there because I was trying to get you all the information you needed. I know y'all don't want to talk about it. I can tell your demeanor, but Benton Harbor is on its way to a tragic ending. If you all don't get a hold of this, I've been standing here for years telling y'all, and I'm just the old bird, just mad at everybody. That's what they want to say. But I'm trying to get your attention that this is going to come to a bad ending if you all don't get this together. You got to have some clarity. The commissioners that ask for information, get it to them. When you all vote on something, give them enough time to research it before you vote on it. A whole lot of things that you all are doing wrong. I don't know nothing. My intellect is not there. Now you go into the Plant Academy, I'm with you there. But as far as the government, common sense could tell you some of these things.
Thank you, Mr. Nard. Last question.
I want to piggyback off of what my colleague was saying about her finances and a job search. And she brought this forth several years ago. And I'm hoping that when we send out a search RFP for a finance director,
Let me get some clarity, Commissioner.
You
We're gonna talk, let's, we got that.
oh, we coming to
That's
that,
at
we
the
haven't
bottom,
gotten in yet,
yeah.
okay, okay, I'll wait, thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you for your understanding. Finance report.
It won't come up on the screen? I thought there was part of the purpose, those that didn't have, you go along.
Is it all operational?
Yeah, but I don't have just, I think what else.
Go ahead, Ron.
That's perfect, right?
Okay. Finances, the results for January 31st. Not a lot of, or any unusual activity for the month of January. There was no activity in the lead service line, no payments made for that during the month. There was no ARPA spending. One thing though, and we've brought this up several months now, is that the cash, again, in the general fund and the utility services fund is low
Mhm.
again.
Right.
I did do a quick look at the utility fund past due. And right now it's sitting, accounts 60 days and over. There's $550,000 in a 60-day or older category. And if you look at the same figure pre-COVID, January 2020, it was half of that. So, and we've given a credit to the city residents, plus we've had to move some of the money to taxes as well. So the balance is still, past due is still pretty substantial, which is causing a cash shortage in the city.
Was that 5
We
years
was,
Pardon me?
The chairman, I said, through the chair, did she mention that there was 500 something odd thousand?
550,000.
Of accounts receivable for utility and trash, sewer, water, trash,
60 days. Okay.
that are 60 days and older.
So, with that, we had that last, utility assistance, that was 1 million, close to one, how much that was?
The $1 million last year that went to the residents was active residential accounts got $356 each.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Would that be beneficial to, I think, to do that again, to add some more money to this utility fund? Because we just robbing Peter Pan Paul, just as soon as the general fund gets money, we zap it to the utility fund. City manager, is it, I know with all the lead lines being repaired, is there a notice coming? I know we had different programs before they started sending out shut-off notices, and it's gonna be advanced.
What you're asking is a time when we're going to
Start.
start doing
Is a
something.
moratorium on? You can't do that, the state of Michigan, sit back and
Go ahead, finish.
There's no deadline,
Mm-hmm.
but we're looking at a date sometime probably in March.
What it's all about.
There's an approach that we want to take, and we want to explain it to you all after we get it together. It's not just shutting off, and it's not just, we want to get people to get the payment plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want to make it a date certain, and we're trying to forecast what that is going to look like, so we can have that for you to see.
Oh, great.
I think before we, all that happened, I think we still need to get the residents some relief. You know,
For sure.
at least, and, that'll put something in the utility fund to help, at least get them a start, you know, on what's on their bill, you know. I don't know how much we did the 356 last time, right? I know some people was more than that,
How do we come up with that price?
but, you know, I think relief is in order here before we, you know, city have been through a lot. You know, residents, pandemic, even now, with, you know, the price of everything going up. Commissioner?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think, you know, the most fairest way to do it, because, you know, one of the questions was, say, what about the people who pay their bills? And so I think to be fair, that one, like you talked about, how we did it last time, everybody got 356, so if the bills was paid, then they had the credit. If the bill wasn't paid, then it was credited toward the bill. So if we're gonna do some type of relief, it definitely have to be fair. And I think the most fair way is everybody get the same thing.
What had the process last time? You decided on a total dollar amount of $1 million, and we spread it evenly by all the active residential accounts. And that's how we arrived at 356 it was taking the $1 million and dividing it by the active residential customers. And we can do that same, you know, if you know what dollar amount you want to give.
400.
400?
Five.
Okay.
What are you saying, 400?
We can calculate
Yeah.
that
Point of order.
and because one of the things you have to keep in mind is that to the person who is current,
Mhm.
you're not going to get money from them for 4 to 5 months. It's
That's okay.
depending.
It works.
So you're just pulling that money up
Mhm.
quicker
Yeah.
and using it. And last time it was about half and half.
Okay.
About half was on money that was owed the city and half went out to people as like an advance.
They deserve it as well.
So we can calculate what the total cost on, I heard 400, 450 and 500.
Yeah, just send us.
And I can give you and do it the same way, correct, as residential active
Active
customers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna give them 2.5.
Commissioner?
At the same time, the plan is being worked on for the collections for using payment plans and stuff like that. So-
Right.
So that would also help in getting the money back in quicker too.
And also you have to remember that there are other programs where residents can get assistance.
Yes.
You have to do is apply for it.
We have to
We talked about it a lot.
give you some help.
Oh, I'm in agreement that we should pay more, give Weston more money, I'm thinking 450 to 500.
Good comment. Commissioner?
Thank you. I'm not sure where we are with moratorium, but I do know that in America altogether, nobody's water will be turned off. I'm asking though, with whatever we do, that we will make a decision, say about the 20th of next month. Have some people that's going to Washington to take care of some things as it relates to our water and our filtration plant. And knowing that we are about to incur another rise in our water rates
Right.
to be able for that plant out there to operate. So that's another discussion that we need not be waiting until the last minute to discuss.
Thank you,
And
Commissioner.
I say that it should be 500 to every resident across the board, pay in or not.
Thank you, Commissioner. Go ahead, Mr. Siebel.
Hi, good evening. Okay, so the utility fund, I'm just trying to understand this whole thing. So you're asking to take money from the general funds to transfer to you? No?
No, from the
Oh, the opera money.
opera money.
So is there, the opera money, you have a total amount of what you guys have?
Yes.
So this is what you did before.
Yes,
The money came from the opera funds and
Opera
went to the
fund.
utility funds, but it went in the form of helping each individual resident pay their bill,
Mhm.
correct? Okay, so you wanna take money again from the opera funds and help pay the bill. So why, what is the estimated percentage of amount of residents that are paying their bills? And why is the utility fund always depleted or low? Is
because
this the only,
collections,
I'm sorry?
people not paying. You know, we got the water bill, the trash bill, sewer bill, all on that bill. Nobody
Shouldn't be.
So this is the only, service that funds the utility funds?
the general fund,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the,
the opera,
no.
the general fund.
The only service that funds the utility fund is the sewer, the trash and the water, correct? Am I correct when I'm
No.
saying that? No?
Rhonda, can you explain?
Yeah, what should be funding the utility fund are the collections for the billing for the water and the sewer. The city bills, water, sewer, trash, all in one bill. Up until recently, it's been pretty self-sufficient. Collecting sewer and water would run the plant and the facility. Since people haven't been paying regularly since COVID, cash has been much shorter in this fund. And not only does this fund, the utility fund and the billing, collect money for the utility fund, there's also a portion of it, about $500,000 a year, is collected for all the trash removal out of the city. And the city, in the general fund, pays for the operations of the trash. That money is supposed to get transferred from the utility fund to the general fund to pay for the employees that handle that. That hasn't happened because collections have been so low, cash collections. The billing's going out and we have the revenue, it's just the cash hasn't been coming in. So.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Mr. Turner.
What's wrong with moving $2.5 million from the ARPA fund to the pay of collections and zero out people bills? Stop purchasing brand new vehicles and going on long trips to Washington DC. Just move $2.5 million from ARPA fund to collections and zero it out. And then email other people, hey, start today, you pay your bills. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it now.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Go ahead, Commissioner Adams.
I was gonna ask a question, but he just said something that made more sense, and I forgot of an article that I just read that GOP is about to try to come after these dollars if we don't hurry up and spend them. I was about to ask a question about our reserve, but it's reserved for a reason if we need it later for a rainy day, even if we need to help the residents. Are we allowed to use that reserve for that as well as paying, making sure that our employees, that we can make payroll? Can we use our reserve for that, Rhonda, through the chair?
Which
If down the road, after I think that's a good idea that we should zero out. Cause this is not our money. It came in here for the residents. We bought fire truck and a whole lot of other stuff. And it's time to give to the residents. Zero out. We got 4 point something left of opera dollars. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got 4 point something million left. 5 million left.
4.6.
Let's zero out everybody's Merry Christmas.
No.
In our
No,
residents.
that's Christmas.
No, I'm just saying, but my question is, later on, are we actually allowed to utilize any of those dollars that are in reserve for a thing like that? If we run into a problem and our residents can't pay their bills with this water plant situation that's about to hit us the end of next month, the beginning of April, with a pay hike in our water bill.
It's not to July.
Are we allowed to use any of the reserve funds to do what we're trying to do now if we didn't have opera dollars? Could we do that? That's an easier way to.
If you
Okay,
have
okay.
the money
Well,
and
we just know
it's
the
commission voted and it's, the
Okay.
cash
But now
is
that we
there
got
to
those-
do it.
Okay,
those opera dollars, I think this is a perfect opportunity to show the people that we care and zero them out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, show us
Last
that.
question. Ms. Turner, go ahead.
I wanna clarify from what you were saying, the fire truck was bought about through a grant. They had
I'm
nothing to do
aware
with
of
our
that. I'm aware of
general
that.
funding or anything from the city, it bought through a grant.
Yeah, but we've spent a lot of money on little bits and extras.
Go ahead. Point of order. Go ahead, let, run.
425,000 of the fire truck was a grant from the state of Michigan.
With a match.
The other 200, it did require a match of another 200,000, and we utilized the ARPA funds for that. It did not come out of operations. It came out of the ARPA money to cover, because you can't get a fire truck for
I know, it
425,000.
cost $1 million.
This costs 625, I believe. Right, and then the equipment to go with it, so.
It's at 1 million.
All right,
Go ahead, Ron. That's it.
thank you. You learn. I learned.
Again, as we talked, the ARPA money
Can we
is,
send that forward to the commission?
She gonna let,
Numbers on.
yeah.
No,
Go ahead.
let's talk
oh, I
about it.
just was gonna reiterate that of the ARPA spending, there's 4.6 million left available. And then also report that through January, the 31 million has been spent on the lead service line replacement. There's about 5.6 left to go on that, and it may not even cost quite that much. They're settling out a lot of the contractor payments right now. And then we are starting to work on the additional 27 million. We're getting ready to, we're organizing how we're gonna keep track of that and get that submitted to the state for the water plant and some of the other distribution issues that were included in the 27 million of state money. So that process is starting now.
Thank you. Go ahead, Representative.
Chief, I already asked her, but can you tell me what was the last three transactions that we used for the opera fund?
The last what?
Three transactions.
What the ARPA funds were used for? There's an exhibit at in the financials. It's page 4. And I've tried to keep track of everything you've spent since you got the money. It looks like this. Okay. So it's kind of in order of how the money was spent, but there was, the last items were, if you look down at the bottom, a street sweeper, wood chipper, the cloud-based system that was voted on for the financial system, plus all the computers. 57 has been spent, but it's gonna be closer to 150. I mean, it's in progress. It will go on for the next year and a half. Cameras, half of the cameras that were placed outside were paid for. Chambers upgrade. So the list is here on how the money, is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait, just for clarification, when you said earlier, said that some of the bills were moved over to the taxes. How long, well, that's probably how to answer the question. How long do it take for that money to come back to the city? Is it a process where the county still giving this city the money and upfront and
If it's not paid, yes, you have to pay it back.
Correct.
Absolutely. There was last 2 years, there's substantial amount moved, and in June, if that isn't collected, the county, you're correct, gives us everything that's delinquent. They usually give the city $400,000, $300,000 for the delinquent taxes and special assessments. But over time, if it's not collected, the city will have to pay it back.
So when they come in, is that put into the different funds that, say like the water?
It would have to come out of the water fund because the money, pardon me?
Yeah, what I'm saying, so when the money come in, when the county, forwards you that money,
Mm-hmm.
then that money goes into those areas where.
It should have come into, yes. When the money comes back, it's kept separate and we know how much is coming in for utilities, how much is coming in for who didn't pay their rental registration, which is on the general fund. So when that money comes in, it goes to the utility fund and the general fund. We keep it separate.
So,
But if the money gets taken back, it'll have to come out of those funds.
so, I guess forecasting, since what's probably last couple of years or so, do you have any idea percentage wise how much you end up have to get paid back to the county?
Could have to, you mean? I'll have to look at that. How much, I can't remember how much the county paid in at the end of the year, tax year last year, but I can look and see how much is possibly we would have to be charged back if they don't collect.
Commissioner
It's something that we need to not forget, and it just dawned on me after speaking with Ms. Shelley, the county treasurer, earlier today. And I don't know what we can do, but I think somebody pointed the finger at Berrien County for putting people's utilities, unpaid utilities on their water bill,
Mhm.
and they're going to the county. She said, no, that's the city of Ben Harbor that did that. That needs to stop and it needs to be fixed. And it just dawned on me that President Biden made a statement that they're working on stopping people, banks and other institutions, including utility services, all those little bitty costs and fees and stuff that add up on a person, all across the board, all across the country. And it needs to stop. But Benton Harbor, somebody here, with an ink pen, a computer, their fingers on a button or something, been putting people's utilities, even if they paid their taxes, these bills are following people's taxes and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be stopped immediately. Because let me say this. I rented a piece of property out to somebody and the young chick did not turn the utilities over into her name, not knowing. And those utilities still ended up in the same person's name and it ended up falling on the taxes. That's not fair. And it needs to be fixed immediately. Because I'm pretty sure some other people in the community are doing the same thing. And the rates are steadily going up. I mean, there's an interest rate attached to it that steadily allows it to climb.
Could you speak on that, Ron?
Yeah, the movement of unpaid utilities is actually part of your charter.
Sure.
And we tried to avoid doing that because we knew, we being the utility department, city manager, we did not want to put this on people's taxes, and we were advised by Miller Canfield and our own attorney that because of the charter, this was the avenue we had to follow. So I think your charter will have to be modified.
See, this is why communication is so important, because we shouldn't just now be knowing this from our finance person that's taking care of our books. Also, I wanted to ask if in fact we could put something on here in the next summary that we see for Ben Harbor residents' education. Like for Manchester Beer, we are the Training Technology Center. If we could put a line item for that on there.
Thank you.
The school falling in line and some other folks is and they ready.
Go ahead. One was last question. Go ahead.
So how she just mentioned how that for the city charter, that's how it goes to your taxes. Don't you think a letter should went out first to the homeowner?
Mhm.
And informing them, hey, that per the city charter, state what it says, if you don't have it paid within 30 days, we're gonna put in your taxes. You would keep a record of, hey, it's been mailed out, certified by the post mail, you have a record of it. That way, no resident be upset per the city charter. But apparently the city manager, as little and her, didn't follow protocol properly.
That's too much work.
They get paid for it,
Go
good
ahead.
salary.
Last.
Well, I just wanna say, I'd like to see that item in our next meeting about the, income, the taxes being on that, the water bill being on their taxes.
Thank you, Ron, for the
Okay.
update.
Wasn't it?
Can I ask one question before she gets away?
Go ahead.
I'd just like to know if there's infrastructure money coming through the government, coming to Benton Harbor to do infrastructure work. Why are we spending taxpayers' money to fix any damn thing? Right now. When is this money supposed to come? That's really my question. So the citizens can have a shot.
What money you referring to?
What money did you hear me speak of?
Infrastructure money.
Oh, that's what I'm talking
It
about.
be for infrastructure, that's helping people.
Okay, then, stay on with me. Stay with me, because I'm trying to get a
I'm with
question.
you now, wait a minute, I'm with you now, I can get loud too.
Well, get loud then.
The money is coming.
Well, when was my question, Mr.
I'll get
Man?
that information to you
When can I get
as
that?
soon as I can.
Can I get it from somebody else
Tomorrow,
in this
will the
room?
city manager, can you get him the information?
Can I get it from somebody today in this, out of this room and not have to ask you, Mr. Chair?
I don't know, if they got it, they can give it to
Mr.
you.
Chair, ask one of them then.
City manager has his information. When the money coming in.
What infrastructure?
What infrastructure money?
We're-
What our
there's
president is
20.
talking,
They just give $181.
What
They
y'all don't know about
budgeted.
the infrastructure money?
They haven't budgeted this year's money.
Y'all don't watch the news?
I do.
So we to get that information, Mr. Duncan will get it to you.
No, that's all right. You did enough today.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. That's it, thank you, Rhonda, for the.
Sure thing.
Yes, thank you, Rhonda.
Did you have another-
Ask some questions.
Do you have another
No,
question?
not for you, it's like hell.
Go ahead, Mr. Duncan.
Hey, thank you. I'm gonna just come.
I'm looking at this,
Okay.
paper here,
Thank you very much.
and unless all of this beautiful equipment that we got in for.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Have you all got a log for that? Or what logs? I mean, on a daily basis, what's being done.
Yep.
And we got all that beautiful equipment to be used. And I know the city streets should be nice and clean. And the tree lawns should be clean. Benton Harbor should have a new facelift on it. All of this expensive equipment here. And I don't wanna see the street sweepers broke. Every time we got the street sweeper ready, it's broke. And those guys are sitting down there and you know, that don't make sense. I know that they are crying about getting a raise, but also have something for them to be able to get the work done. It's right here.
Right.
But have a law so that you can pinpoint what they're doing every day. Am I making sense? I've asked this
Making great
before.
sense. Great
I
sense.
might have to
Great
say,
sense.
please.
Thank you. Last question, Mr. Turner.
So I'm like, I will say Commissioner Carr, Kennard, new equipment, here it says current employees for public works is 12 people. Last I knew of, and maybe Coach your secretary can answer the question, the old computers out the squad cars was pulled went to public works and put in those new trucks, so they go home in. Why is that their work orders not sent on their trucks? No one should be at the driveway at 347, sitting in their driveway.
Mhm.
And I can pull my dash cam from my truck. Trust and believe me. At 3:47 PM and at 9 at night, city trucks should not be on my streets. They should be in my parking garage.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
So we have 12 employees with new equipment. Starting tomorrow, Mr. Mitchell and City, Little, I want work orders done. Cause I got a whole bunch of in third ward, need to be completed.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Director Little.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna have to leave about 7, and I stayed because I'd like to explain this
Okay.
one resolution.
Okay, go ahead, you got the floor.
Thank you. I put a resolution on to request the commission to authorize the acceptance by the city of a Medicaid CHIP Community Development Lead Hazard Control Program grant in the amount of $100,000. As you know, we have been for years operating housing rehabilitation programs using HUD CDBG funds. Last year, you might recall my reporting to you that at one point, we sort of formed a partnership with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services as they began doing the assessment and abatement on lead paint in homes. And since that time, they now have added, since we've completed the lead line replacement project, they have now added a program to assess all of the homes in the city as to whether they have lead plumbing in the house or galvanized piping. We have been working in concert with them on all of this as it moves through, because we can't spend federal funds to do repairs on the homes unless the lead assessment's done first on the paint. And now with the piping, we can't do it until that assessment is complete. If they determine they have to remove, do lead piping and remove it and replace it, then we can't do anything on the house until they finish. So in working with them, here, they're giving us a $100,000 grant that we would use to do certain of these houses ourselves and use their funds to pay for it, so we can move on with doing what we have to do, having some control over what the schedule is. At the same time, it also provides us, because we meet and talk with them weekly, and it gives us a chance to coordinate. And we furnish them the names and the units that have qualified for our program and ask them if they can speed up the process and move them to the front of the process for doing their assessments and so forth. And by doing this, it just works to the advantage of the city and the citizens all the way around.
This would be a job for residents.
Actually, these require, just as the state does with theirs, people who have certain certifications and things of that nature. They have to be contractors that have been certified by the state to be able to do certain things and so forth.
Makes sense.
So the actual $100,000 will go for
Going to pay contractors to do
the,
lead removal and lead abatement and clearance work on it.
basically speed up the process.
Yes.
In fact, I'm looking at one now.
Can't hear you.
That's all.
The same thing that they doing here,
Yes.
but this gonna take longer because they got more to do. And so the houses that you already have, in line to be worked on, you can't work on
Right,
because
until they finish.
until they finish. With this $100,000, you can go ahead and
We'll be able to move some of them on.
clear that.
Go ahead, Representative Clark.
My question is, who choosing these houses?
We are, and we're choosing them as a result of people who request. Now, let me first back up. Which houses are you referring to? Who chooses them?
I'm talking about you got some houses that's already lined up that you,
Medicaid.
We do, so I can clarify. The state is doing it on the regular assessments and abatement process as a result of them offering it to people and people calling them and saying, I'd like to have it done. We've had some people that are somewhat understandably suspicious that they don't want to wind up with a bill at the end, that kind of thing. Some of them even call me, and I've had to explain to them how that works. Now, on the other side of the coin, where the rehab and so forth is involved, we choose them as a result of the people requesting to have assistance. They submit all of their information, and if they meet all the guidelines and they qualify, we then take a look at their home situations to make sure the house qualifies, and then we start going through the process.
Okay, a long time ago. Through the chair, Mr. Little, the resolution that you're saying that's a grant, $100,000?
Yes.
Okay, would that grant cover everything we're trying to do? Because I noticed our last grant, it said 400-some thousand, but when we read the paper, the breakdown was that actually it was 300 and I think 40-some thousand, and 86,000 came from us. So,
We're talking two different grants. You're referring to the Community Development Block Grant,
I know that.
of which 80% is set aside for administration. And then there's a portion that the
I'm
general.
asking about this one you talking about.
This one I'm talking about is a flat, simple $100,000, and it is provided by the state. It's additional money over and above the
Okay.
400,000 that you're talking about from community development.
Okay, so can you please simplify it? Because that, I just wanted a simple answer. I know you want to, gotta leave. And I know the difference. I comprehend well, so I know those two different grants. I said the last one we passed, but the one you're talking about today, the 100,000, is that money gonna cover what you're trying to do with these homes? Because, let me finish, please. Because, like I said, we've passed grants in the past, and at face value, it said one thing, but if you read on where it said financial impact to the city, it was actually not the total amount of grant. We were actually covering what they did not cover. So does this cover in its entirety? And if not, where would that money come from if we have to take a financial impact?
The answer on this one is, it will depend on each situation. One house you go into, they do the assessment and determine it's got this much lead, the cost of abatement might be 15,000. You go into the next house, they look at it and come up with what's in there, the cost of abatement might be 25,000. So it varies.
So that means we might take a financial impact where we might have to pay some. But you
City
said varies
doesn't,
by house.
if there's anything additional that's paid, it would be paid as a part of the regular CDBG program, but not the city. The city isn't paying anything in any of this.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mr. Henry? Oh, you, Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So I see that, the lead abatement. Now, let me say this, there's programs
Right.
to train people from Benton Harbor.
Right.
I don't know how many people went. I just hope they went and got some training. So will we be able to get those contractors to hire our people that are lead certified?
Director Little.
We can ask them to and encourage them to if they need additional people, and provided that the people have in fact been trained and are willing to do the work.
Where's the $100,000 part that we have, that if they put it in the contract, that they have to hire been out of residence or subcontract out with the subcontractor? So if we put that in the document contract, but we gotta put some meat, some teeth in it. So if they say they don't do it, let's penalize them. Because what they do is they come in and they say, well, we got all our people. The lead lines did that after 2-3 weeks. They brought all their people and let our people go.
Let me just answer you honestly, no. If you put it in there, it's going nowhere.
It's-
Because what it requires, as I said earlier, it requires qualified contractors who are willing to do the work. Many of these contractors are in business. They can only be in business by having people to do work. Now, if they need additional people, I'm sure we could get them to commit to hire people if they're available, but they're not gonna lay anybody off to hire somebody.
That ain't gonna happen
That's
then.
a if and a but.
Chairman,
So my next question, Will, if we're gonna be between 4 to 6 homes under this funding, and how, and I see Medicaid, that just jumps right out at me. Who in Benton Harbor will qualify for, and if it's 4 or 6 houses and you got $100,000, that's a nice investment in a homeowner. So my question is, who are these homeowners, 5 to 6 homeowners that we're going to address with this $100,000 on lead?
The exact same people that we are qualifying to do the CDBG program. It's tied to that. It's not a separate thing, it's tied to that.
Oh, it's tied to that.
Yes,
So
in
do,
fact, this is
do
a
we
process
still
that
have
we
the,
went on through.
do we still have the same criteria, the horrible racist thing that HUD does to us? Because you redline, you insurance, certain whole thing, a lot of things that HUD requires to do to spend this money. So my question to you, Mr. Little, through the chair, is these same criteria part of this contract? They have to have insurance, they have to have this, they have to have that. So my question is that part of this program?
Some parts are and some parts aren't. And this is a state program as opposed to HUD program.
Wow.
So HUD, the state's requirements apply. And the state is making every effort to try to address lead replacement on every home in the city.
Oh, wow. The state.
The
And
state,
so where did this money come from?
It's
Because I
coming
want
from
to talk
the
to them in the
Michigan
morning.
Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, I'll talk to them in the morning. They need to hear our cry. Thank you.
Through the chair, to Mr. Little here, who's gonna do the follow-up on these homes here? Because every time we have a project in Harbor, no one from the city, I'm talking our city officials, is doing follow-ups and making sure the work is done completely for the residents. We had Alley's project done last year, nobody did a follow-up with them last year. So who's gonna do a follow-up and make sure these 4 to 6 homes are done completely? That's a question for Mr. Little.
Director Little, you answer that, city manager?
The follow-up is not about doing a home completely, it's about doing the contract completely. We don't do contracts to do completely everything that needs to be done. You've been hearing this for 40 years in this city about the CDBG program. we're going in the houses that when you look at the amount of work that needs to be done in these houses, many of them are $70,000 and $80,000 worth of work. We only got the amount that's allowed, typically 25,000 max. No, we don't do complete. We go in and evaluate whether they did what they were contracted and paid to do.
Commissioner,
Thank you.
With that, I'd like to be.
I know that being on the calls that there was some training coming up. I got a question for Mr. Little.
Yes, ma'am.
That, the state was offering training for anybody in these local areas for training to work alongside contractors when this type of work came up. However, my question to you is that the work of the houses that we have subbed them out to Southwestern Michigan Action Agency. So how does that correspond with these grant dollars with, them being overseers? I know that this needs to be done because the state of Michigan has done quite a bit of work on several properties that I know of specifically, and it's a lot of money, and they're willing to do it, but they can't find contractors to do it. So, I mean, we gotta hold their feet to the fire and not take on so little that ends up costing much more, that we find ourselves incurring a cost without being reimbursed.
You just hit the nail on the head as to what this is about. The Community Action Agency is our subcontractor that's doing our CDBG housing rehab. This will be passed through to work in concert with that, with them. In other words, if we've got a property that we've qualified, we're ready to go do rehab on the property with our CDBG funds, we're asking the state, can you put this at the front of your list, do the assessment and get that out of the way so we can work on it? They tell us we can't get to it for 4 months.
Exactly.
And then we have the ability through Community Action
Exactly,
Agency
and I know that
to
there's
use
a
the
long
certified
list.
contractors.
There's a long list and they're
Yes.
steadily coming in. But
Exactly.
my question now is, are we working with CDC through the chair? Our new, little organization in the community as opposed to Southwestern Michigan Action Agency?
Not on this program.
Okay, why not?
Because they don't know anything about this program. It takes a
Oh,
long
okay, so
time.
we need to educate
build
them
this
and bring
up.
them up to speed too, so that they can, because I do know that going to a brownfield, conference, they had came up with a paint. Somebody had created a paint that actually kills lead. And the only place they were selling it at then was Home Depot. So I'm not sure of the logistics of all that, but it's a whole lot of work that needs to be done, that contractors are not as various in finding for this work.
Thank you.
Well, he's gone now. I had a question in regards to, you have 2 CDBG positions open. You
Right.
have a manager, they're looking for a manager and a coordinator. So the CDBG is the program that does the rehab for the home. So is this program actually active, or is it going to be active? Right, because I'm saying we're asking for money to add to moving forward with the process. So, but is the program actually active and in motion now? If you don't have people to even do the job, so how is it getting done?
I think Director
And
Little,
nobody applying, nobody
Director,
wants
just point of order, Director Little doing all positions.
really.
Yes.
That's not even possible.
At $120,000.
That's not even possible for one person to take on that much responsibility and have
Southwest
that
Action
done.
Agency.
Point of order.
Hey, this lady is talking and y'all just talking all over her. Let's look at it. She got the floor.
Can you answer that, city manager, or is that something that Director Little needs to? I just need to know. I see online that there is a rehab program through the block grant fund. So is it actually
Yes,
in motion?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Southwest Action Agency.
And we-
Also, okay.
We have contractors that do, the subcontractors, in the case of Southwest Michigan, that actually perform the work.
Do you have, I mean, administrative part of it is what I'm
The
speaking
administrative
about.
part, Mr. Little now.
Also, Mr. Little handled that?
And the two positions that he's trying, and has been trying to hire, would take on that
Their responsibility. Yeah, that's why I was asking,
That is
because I,
correct.
okay.
How long have those positions been empty?
How long we gonna wait on?
It's been empty since he's been there.
Oh, wow.
It was filled for a while.
No, the state turning me in.
Oh, what, about
They were filled.
Wait, last question, Ms. Kennard. We moving on, last question.
Yes, last question, okay. I'd like, and it would have been good if Mr. Little, I heard him speak, I think it was last week, that there was gloves and masks. Did you hear that?
Downstairs, yeah.
Okay, now they don't make it mandatory anymore. When I did ask for masks some time ago, they said the money was all gone for masks and gloves. So what is going on there?
It's downstairs.
No, she referred to a year and a half ago, I emailed the city manager, the whole commission about that money. And all of a sudden, the last one I got, I was sending an email to all y'all, it popped up. It is boom, and now we got it downstairs. But the mayor was out making sure people had certain people who could click had.
Okay.
So how did we disperse it is what she's asking, putting that money that first came out during the pandemic.
They said the money was gone.
I got the email from him. I got his email
Now
from him.
we got,
That was the CARES money was gone.
so it's another
Now we got the
direction the money
opera
come from. I mean, all of a sudden.
We got opera money now. That was CARES money. I know it's hard
CBG,
to
the mask
keep track.
downstairs came from CBG. Thank you, we finna move on.
Could I ask one more question, on this, you wanna move this to the full body?
Yes.
You just got it?
We moving it to the full body.
You just got it in your hand today?
I'm gonna say it
Now,
one
I'm
more
asking you
time.
a question, Chair,
I'm gonna say
please.
it one more time. We're moving it to the full body.
No, I'm asking you a question.
I got it, I read it,
You got this today?
I got it.
Today?
It was in my agenda.
It's on your agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so we just got it.
Is this
You got
something,
it.
Okay, now, let me ask this question about this program.
what else is being moved forward?
Oh, God, can't even find it now, so many pages.
While she looking, what else is being moved forward?
Y'all whispering, but I can hear y'all.
I'm
You got
sorry,
it, Commissioner?
I'm sorry, Chair, I lost
You got
my
anything
place.
you wanna?
Because you wanna argue with me about
I'm not
conversation.
arguing, no.
Yeah, yes, you having a
I said, If you
conversation
got
with
any questions, you can ask Director Little. It ain't, the meeting is not until Monday. We can get it resolved. That's all. I'm trying to say something's spoken smooth and nice to you. That's all I'm saying.
You just got a 31-page article,
I
and
read.
you read it, and we just getting it, and you want us to read it for Monday?
Right, we moving on. We got Finance Director. Discussion. Nothing.
Quick question, is the meeting Tuesday or Monday?
Next Tuesday. Monday's President's Day.
Oh, yeah, President's Day.
Oh, my God,
You
another holiday.
Thank you. Discussion, Finance Director. We, moving forward on looking for a Finance Director through MLL, PayCor, letters to the colleges. See,
Okay.
taking recommendations. You know anybody,
Are,
know some professionals,
are,
you know, let me know, let us know.
are we
Work together.
seeking, are we seeking financial firms as well?
Not yet, no.
Why?
No
Why not?
recommendations,
Why?
I'd like to know why
recommendations.
not. We should be able to negotiate a price.
Let's do this first. Then we'll,
They're one and the same.
and that's what we're working on now on the Finance Director. Move forward, just like your recommendations, colleges, MML, PayCor, which we already had, Indeed, LinkedIn, Robert Half.
That's a lot of money we paying out.
Well, we can do our own research too.
Why don't y'all?
Thank
Why
you.
don't y'all do
Hey,
something?
go ahead, Mr. Nara, we're gonna finish this night up.
Okay, I wanna know one question. why are the finance managers not, directors not staying? I'd like to know what is the problem with to get the next one, they gonna have the same problem. So there's a problem there.
Mhm.
So why would we ask someone to come into this hornet's nest? I told the other one, I said, you running into a hornet's nest, and he sure enough did. I want to know what's going on, the reason, because the first one, he wrote a full, I got it on my phone here, as to why he left. The same one I heard on the news, Channel 57,
Mhm.
same problem. We can't put the next one in, because he's gonna stay a few minutes and leave too.
Yeah.
So you got to have the things in
Please.
place so the man can do his job.
Right.
And we can't have 2 or 3 of us sticking their heads together, seeing where they can filter out a few nickels for themselves. So I know where there's money, there's gonna be some slickster. So what I want to know is, what do you have in place is to make it possible for those directors to do their jobs?
So we'll make sure this committee will follow ups and do it.
Cause you're in
better
violation
than
of
we
the
did
charter.
before.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
So Mr. Williams went in details on the Herb Palladium.
We're not finna discuss
I'm not,
personnel matters.
I'm not, I have a question though.
It's public.
So I have to.
It's public.
I'm
It
not
was in the
finna go- I'm not finna
newspaper.
What
go
I'm
back
saying
and
is
forth.
this here.
I'm not finna go back
Is
and
that if
forth.
you're gonna hire your next director, and the city manager, Alice Little, and Rhonda, and other people, is having private meetings without the finance director being there, that's a violation of code of
And
ethics in the city charter. That means the city manager and Mr. Little is need to be sanctioned for being a violation. Point blank,
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
and
We'll
paid,
get to that.
non-paid leave. I want it to happen.
I'd
Okay.
like
I
to
wanna
know,
know.
Chairman Isom, we putting out a search, and this is all public knowledge across America and probably beyond. Why would I hire, why would I even bother to fill out an application after reading it and knowing that the masses are working against me when I can't even get codes that I need to do my job? What are we going to do as an elected body to ensure that the person that comes before us that applies for these positions have what they need? We can't keep wasting people's time and setting ourselves up for lawsuits because somebody's ego is larger than it needs to be.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Well, we gotta do things different, you know, and that's what we.
What are we going to do different?
The hiring practices and looking to these candidates deeply.
There's ain't nothing wrong with them.
Go ahead, Commissioner Henry.
Now, let me ask you this though, if we put our RFP out
Right.
for a director, why can't we put out a search for a firm? We got a firm.
Okay.
But this firm has allowed to only have contact with 2 people.
Mhm.
And that's definitely against our charter.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't we hire a firm that's gonna address the commission as their supervisor?
And not only that.
Why can't we hire a
To
firm?
negotiate our own price.
Why can't we have a firm? If we got a firm now that's been here, so if we get a firm, and I've been trying to get rid of Plant Moran
It's
for
not,
23 years.
it's not
It took me
personal.
2 terms to get somebody else to audit, and that's the guy that we had here.
And right now,
2
they're in a
terms.
contract.
So
we probably
why
need
can't we get a firm?
Thank you for your
Royal.
recommendation.
No.
I said, thank you. We'll put that in
No,
there, too.
I asked you, why can't we get a firm?
We
That's
get
a,
one, we get a firm. Get one.
Are we
As
putting it in
the
the
city
search?
manager,
Duly noted.
do you have a comment about a firm, city manager? Cause you kind of look at the red there.
Duly noted, Commissioner.
Do you have a comment about the firm?
A firm.
A firm?
I'll get back with you,
We'll
Commissioner.
look into that. We'll look into
A
it.
firm
Just like-
search as well as finance director search.
Thank you.
That's a search, and one is RFP, that's different.
Go ahead.
I just wanna say, I mean, earlier Commissioner Henry was saying, address the elephant in the room. I think she was talking about something else, but let's just address the elephant in the room. We have an internal problem, and that's why the finance director are not staying. And he has, you all know that's in here, the commissioner, he reached out to all of us.
Yep.
I responded, and I think maybe through Mo, but nobody else said nothing. So we already know, and not just his article in the paper, he also was addressed, I addressed it several times. And so we know what's going on, and we need to deal with this internally, the department head and everybody else that was giving him, the mayor, whoever else was giving him pushback,
Yeah.
needs to be dealt with.
That's right.
And now he also said that his checks was being held. He's salary, so he should get a pay whether he here or not. Now, if that's true, that's illegal. You should not be taking anybody pay, docking anybody pay. So we need to address these issues internally
Yeah. What
before we
gives me,
even hire somebody else. Because it's gonna be a problem.
what authority do I have as an elected official to have a salaried employee as an elected official? What authority do I have to have someone's pay stopped?
No. You don't have no
Right.
authority.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay, then why is it happening?
That's
Go ahead,
right.
Ms. Book.
And where is it happening from?
Hmm.
Who's doing
As a
it?
taxpayer, because I pay a lot of taxes.
Right.
I'm like everybody else pretty much. Why can't we keep a finance director? It's a problem. You're saying put out an RFP and hire someone else, but what is the issue? I've read a letter that was issued from the last finance director before Mr. Williams, February 2019, resigning with same issues. Why would you wanna, it doesn't even make sense. What do we need to do?
Change.
What do we need to do to figure out what's really going on? What the problem, we know, obviously we know what the problem is.
We
It's
need
been
to be
disclosed by
managing.
2 different people,
Three.
pretty much, well, I know of 2. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. I mean, these are 2 or 3 different separate people saying almost the same thing. So there's an internal problem.
Yep.
So let's not talk about hiring a finance director. Let's talk about what we need to do honestly
Okay.
right.
about rectifying this issue. Because
That's
I have a problem with not knowing where the money that I pay into this city is going. It shouldn't be a secret. It shouldn't be in the hands and the decision making of just one person or hidden from the person that has the responsibility to disclose this information. I have a problem with it, and I do everything in my power to get to whoever I need to get somebody down here to see what's going on.
I'll
But
second
since
that.
everybody else, nobody else seems to want to address the issue. Everybody seems like they know what's going on, but I'm trying to figure out why we can't move forward with
Right.
investigating on finding out what the truth is.
Right.
What
Where there's
Miss
smoke,
Booker
there's
is talking about, I think the time has arrived that we change the charter and change the way this government
No.
is
go find out
governed
where it's-
without a manager.
And
I
I'm
mean,
not,
should be
I'm not
the
trying to
money.
be,
Backed by
I'm
Mayor
upset,
Oriole.
but I'm not trying
Point
to.
Point of order.
Mayoral ran,
Come on,
but by the
man.
majority of a vote.
I'm not trying to be
Sleep up
disrespectful.
there.
I am upset because there's a problem.
It is.
Dude, I mean, why
And it
does
seems
this
to
keep
come from
occurring?
management.
All
I
right.
mean, just be honest. I
Thank
mean,
you,
Would you let the woman speak?
she's right.
So I just wanna know, like, what is the proper protocol? What's the chain of command? I need to know something. Who do we talk to rectify? Because you're gonna keep bringing people in here that's gonna keep on leaving, keep wasting money, my money, and I got a problem with it.
That's not the plan, but, we gotta find the right person.
What's the,
They're
who's the right
And make sure
person?
everything, this person get what they need.
Right, so let's not blame the people. Let's not keep telling we have to find the right person, because you probably already had the right person.
Okay.
Well, everybody.
I don't know how many times.
Speak on that, go ahead.
Well, I just believe we should
What's
go
wrong? It
ahead
can be
and
controlled.
look inside each department head, like the citizen has said. And I think we should look at it.
He's sleepy.
You've been up since 4:30. What was that
I
question?
have a
again?
question.
Last question for the night.
So you are the personnel and finance chair, correct?
Say that again.
You are the personnel and finance chair, correct?
Correct, Mr. Tate, Turner.
Turner. Out of this committee, are you going to do an internal investigation of code of violation? Start with the city manager and Alice Little. We want an opening meeting, stop having a closed door meetings. And that'll be public to us, the public. We could have those two sit right there. Because I will be the first one to grill them.
Subpoena and stuff.
Because they need to be questioned on why we keep on losing good staff. Now, I don't know, Mr. Williams, he answered the commission questions in public, he answered the resident question. We answered our phone call, we called Mr. Little, Mr. Mitchell here, phone don't ring. Email him, silent. Same thing, Mr. Little here. That's a violation. As a commission, y'all always say, you got questions, concern, go to those people. Never respond. And I can see right now, I'm running for office, they bust out of here. Period. Have a good night.
Mr. Duncan, you got something?
Yeah. Have a
Thank you,
good
sir.
night. Go to
Thank
sleep.
you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your
Get
participation.
some sleep.
Thank you for your participation.
I said what I said. I mean it.